Welcome to Sunday Morning Quarterback with Jay Stockwell and Bob Frady.
Hey, Stockwell, I got a question for you.
Okay, what's up?
What's the best way to stop the clock when you need to save time on the clock at the end of a game?
Call a timeout.
Call a timeout. Oh, my gosh, even Stockwell and I know that.
Yeah, it's
unbelievable display of clock mismanagement yesterday.
It's as if they were playing to go to overtime. They wanted to go to overtime. They wanted to run the clock out to the last possible minute. I mean, you're sitting there with 3 timeouts with a minute left, and inexplicably, Rule lets, I think, 25 seconds roll off the clock, the lost half minute.
I wonder if like every time they call a timeout, whether they have to give up some of their bonus money or something like that. Because you think, like, you shouldn't have any timeouts at the end of the half unless you're winning big. It's like, use them. And It wasn't just the end of the game that was the problem. It was the end of the first half as well. They did the same thing. It's like, you know, when the other team has the ball and they're obviously trying to kill the play clock, you can call timeout on them too. And the situational awareness, you know, with Wisconsin trying to kill the clock, it's like, just call timeout. You know, you don't get a bonus if you get the timeouts with you.
It doesn't mean that the outcome would have changed, but you certainly would have had at least 2 more shots at the end zone, or 2 more running plays.
If you lose the game, fine. If you're firing on all cylinders and you still lose the game, then you know what? Congratulations to the other team. But when you're not necessarily managing the game to its best end, it's like, who's paying attention to this stuff? It's like, this is not the pros. You don't need to save all your timeouts to the last minute of the half. Like, this is college where the clock stops every time you get a first down. It's like, you got time. You have time. It's like, use your timeouts smarter. And so I'm stunned at the lack of skill that the coaching staff displayed with the strategic use of timeouts throughout the entire game. So that's number 1.
So the lead, Tad Stryker, Rule and his team were left to ponder the big plays they almost made and the missing half minute that could have made a huge difference. Doggone shame.
They missed another half minute in the first half. It's like, you could have gotten maybe a little bit closer if you had a little bit more time for your field goal attempt. It's like, the clock time is precious. And this one game, it was like, wow.
The reporters in the Monday presser really ought to press them about how they prepare situationally for the clock. You know, and no 2 scenarios are the same, but you got to have some basic rules of thumb, right?
I do have some empathy for the press because it's easy for us to sit here and say things behind the safety of the interwebs. But on Monday, they're right there across from the coach. And they have to have a long-term relationship with this person. So, you know, it's more difficult for them, and I'll give them credit for that.
I think they do a pretty good job. And I think they're, you know, especially when it's been warranted. For example, there was one of the comments I heard, or maybe saw on video, was, remember a couple of weeks ago when some fan yelled at Rule and said, just one more. And Rule yelled back and said, you only want one more? Well, guess what? You got one chance for one more against a ranked team that has clinched the West.
Yes, against the number 20 team in the country. So it is distressing to see the incompetence. That's situational awareness. It's like that's almost like missing a block. You know, you see an edge rusher and you just whiff on it and crushes you.
Both of our preseason predictions, yours at 8-4 and mine at 7-5, are gone.
Oh yeah, that's okay. We're optimists.
Big Ten West is gone, and now the only thing that remains is a bowl game, and I hope they get it because it'll give them more practices and stuff. But there were some here. Let's talk about some positives though. There were some positives. Okay, I thought Chubba Purdy's play was pretty darn good.
Yeah, he did good. He throws a fastball pretty good, and runs surprisingly quickly.
15 for 23, only 1 interception.
The interception is almost forgivable because it was the last play of the game. It was a sort of a desperation heave. Okay, hold on. Before we get to Chubba, I want to say something else. that I did not understand at all.
Okay.
As we were sitting there debating what the coin flip would be, tails never fails. They call tails, they get tails. What do? They defend. It's like, what are you doing?
I think that their idea is that we're a defensive team. Let's get out and put our best foot forward on defense. But in overtime, I completely agree. You want to get out there and get on the offensive, and
you just ran this team down the field, for the game-tying field goal.
Yeah.
And now you want to let them rest up and get their defense back in order when you've been outscored 24-3 since the first quarter.
Yeah.
17-3 since the first quarter. It's like, come on, people. It's like they said they'll defend. I'm like, what is this? The first half? So what the hell is that?
Our track record in overtime is not good. I don't think we've won one since Pelini, and he got fired at the end of the game. It was against Iowa.
How can you not take the ball? I don't know. That's the question I would like to see asked tomorrow at the presser is, why defend?
Yeah.
You just scored. You just won the toss. Go play offense.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, we're going to defend.
Yeah. And you had Chuba in some level of a rhythm at that point, you know?
I thought it was the most bizarre game because they're out 14-0 in the first quarter. We're like, holy cow, 14 points in a quarter. What does that ever happen? And then they just went, I don't know what happened, whether Wisconsin adjusted really well or they just stopped making plays, because it's like, it's like 2 yards in the cloud of dust, which is great. Run the ball. But you just showed that you could have some offense. You finally have the quarterback you want, and then you don't use him. It's like,
yeah.
What the hell is going on? And so I'm like, I'm not like, oh, like people are like, well, you told people to not throw last week and kick the points, and now you do want them to throw. It's like, no, do what's working. Keep doing what's working until it's not working.
I think that's right. He was clearly in a good frame of mind, performing, kind of delivering, and I think something happened. You're right. I don't know exactly what it was, but they definitely slowed down. They got stopped on 4th and 1 too, didn't they? 14-0. Then they got stopped 4th and 1, and that was the. I think that was a bad play call because it took so long to develop that the edge rusher was able to get into the backfield and trip him up.
I'm going to read you some numbers. You ready?
Yeah.
And see if you can tell me what they are when we're done. 10, 14, 35, 28, 7, 20, 17, 31, 17, 10, and 17. You know what they are?
No.
Number of points scored by Nebraska this year. Pitiful. Pitiful. Yeah. It is just pitiful.
Yeah.
And hey, I'm on the bandwagon, man. Easy solve.
Well, and Chuba actually, I think, could be a player next year for the job.
Should be.
Yeah. I mean, he looked fast, Shame he had that groin injury all year long because we don't want a few more games with them.
He had some zip on the fastball. It's like he threw a straight ball to his receivers. But the other thing I would do, if I were Thomas Fidone, I would hit the transfer portal. I think it's time for him to hit the transfer portal because they do not design an offense that throws to the tight end. Everything is almost accidental. He should be catching between 5 and 10 balls per game.
Yeah.
And he's not. He's open. They're just not throwing it to him. And when they do throw it to him, they throw it behind him. They throw it up in the air where he gets racked. It's like you have one of the top recruits in the country. Yeah, he's got some damages. Tough kid, good hands, and you don't throw to him.
That's what Wisconsin did was they went to that guy Pullen like 10 times.
Yeah, they had 3 plays. The big running back, the quarterback draw, and the slot receiver. That was it.
Yeah.
Those were the 3 plays the entire game.
And we couldn't defend them. And ran them.
Like if you had freaking Fidone run a button run, just run a hook. Just sit there 7 yards out, catch the ball. Then you're at 2nd and 3. Like, okay, maybe he turns and breaks one. It's like I would seriously root for him
on that last drive. Chuba did do a quarterback draw, And that was the main play that moved us down the field. But let's go over the stats here real quick. 364 yards total offense for the Huskers, 316 for Wisconsin. Chubba went 15 for 23 for 169 yards passing. And we rushed for almost 200 yards. So we're the leading rushing team in the Big Ten. That's going to continue. They ran for 40 for 156. They passed 18 for 28 for 160. We had one fumble, none lost, and we had one interception. Our time of possession was pretty even, 31-28. Third down conversions, that's where our big opportunity was. We were 5 for 12. And fourth down conversions, we were 1 for 3. So were they, though.
Against the team that just gave up 10 straight third down conversions. It's like, wow. The game before, they gave up 10 straight third down conversions.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The geniuses in the press box are just going to have to be even more genius-tastic next week. And you can blame it on not having quality plays. You can blame it on injury. But it's scheme and just shameful. Shameful.
Brian Christopherson of Husker 24/7. Purdy showed last year is old news as far as his game is concerned. He played some serious ball and brought the best play we've seen to the QB position this year. I agree with that. Tom Chattel, all the punch-the-wall losses to Wisconsin the last decade, this one might have been the most agonizing, spellbinding one of the bunch.
But I do have one positive thing to say about this game.
We weren't there.
Thank goodness we didn't go.
Yeah. Although the weather was perfect. The weather was
I don't care about it. It's not the weather. That's even worse. You know, it's like if it's really cold and you're all muffled up, you can't hear what I'm saying. But oh no! And then when they're up at 14-0 in the first quarter, there'd been a brawl by halftime. So
what was up with Muschini? I mean,
he had a couple of good punts. He had a couple of bad punts. You know,
special teams were just not great.
Yeah.
I don't think they had any turnovers here. Let's look at punting here. Punts average 5 for 35, 4 for 46. Punt returns 2 for 6 yards, 2 for 29. Kickoff returns 1 for 23, and they had 4 for 81. So they definitely won the special teams battle.
They seemed to punt situationally a little bit better. I kind of look at it though, like, you know, yeah, you missed a field goal. There's a little bit of a rush to get out there. That frankly was the difference in the game if you want to look at it in terms of points that were missed. But man, it's just you really hope the coaching staff is going to get in shape over the winter time, because they're a little out of shape right now. I think that they not used to the college game for a while, and their legs are shot in Q4.
The thing that's disturbing is it's so obvious. Like in so many of these coaching things, there's just nuance that you just never see or understand.
Yep.
But like when you sit there with 3 timeouts and let the clock just dwindle, you know, I mean,
and Rule said in the post game, which we might have had one of those back. It's like, yeah, you think it's like I get it, you know, still very positive on the approach, but at the same time, it's like that's some basic mismanagement right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow,
for sure.
So it wasn't even, it was always, you know, it's funny. We were watching the game, and it's like, we're just waiting for Nebraska to kick us in the nuts. Just waiting. And they did, successfully. So they were successful. They were successful on that turn.
Yeah, and the overtime was there was just no plan. There was just no plan. I mean, and they got him with the same play, the quarterback draw.
Yeah, quarterback draw.
That guy deserves, I mean, everything he gets, because he played really, really well. I mean, on that one drive, we had him, it was 2nd and 8, I believe, and our quarterback blitzed and had him dead to rights, and just all he did was step aside, and our guy ran right by.
That's another thing that we haven't seen, is we haven't seen a lot of pressure on the quarterback. It's like they're getting there, but they're not getting it done. And
we only had 1 for 6 yards, and they had 2 for 10.
It was early in the game, and it was kind of like an abandoned run kind of a thing. It's like, I don't know.
Oh, and another thing that really creeped back in, we had 7 penalties for 54 yards, and that was like early year offensive line, at least 3 false starts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it has to be tough as an offensive lineman with 3 different quarterbacks, 3 different cadences, and 3 different voices. It's just, I can't imagine how difficult it must be. And yes, I give the kids all the leeway here, because that's exactly what they are. They're kids. You know, they're being led by men, and the men should do a better job of leadership.
So 5 and 6, one play in 4 games could have made a difference.
Yeah.
This team could be, if they were really buttoned up, they could be 9 and 2.
You are what your record says you are.
Yeah.
You are what you are. And that's it. I think Bill Parcells said something like that. It's like, you are what you are. And this is what they are, is 5 and 6. And that's pretty much where they deserve to be. And it's sad, but listen, if they had lost 3 in a row and then won 4 in a row to get to 5 and 6, everybody would be super pumped. But getting to 5 and 3 and then dropping to 5 and 6, it's like, that's tough.
We've got hope. We've got what time's the game on Friday? Is it a noon game? I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't know. Yes, 11 a.m. It's 11 a.m.
11 a.m. Okay, got it. That should be fun.
You're going to have to get to Best Buy at like 6 in the morning to get all your shopping done so you can make it in time for kickoff. So, get your Black Friday shopping done.
Black Friday? Yeah.
I would love to see you at Black Friday, just sort of waltzing in there, throwing elbows everywhere you go. Like, look out, give me that big screen TV. Throw it over your head.
I'm well equipped. I don't think I need anything over there, though.
I know, it's crazy. One of the things, like, my life goals were very small at one point. My biggest life goal was to be able to walk into Best Buy and buy any TV that I wanted to without stressing about it. That was it. That was like it. Happy family, all that stuff, nice, but that was my goal.
I thought you were going to say buy a TV for the gulag.
Yeah. and then I did it, and now it's like, that was a small goal. Anyway, we'll watch the game. We'll probably still predict a Nebraska victory because we don't learn very well, and we all hope for the best. There's still time to rescue.
If we win, what kind of a bowl game do we get, do you think?
I think we go to, like, the Banana Bowl or something like that. I don't know. The Citrus Fruit Bowl. I don't know what you go to.
So I'll take the Citrus Bowl any day. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's the Tossed Salad Bowl or something like that. It's like,
hold on. Let me look at bowl game lineups here. Let's just do some prognosticating here.
I think you're looking, hopefully, Myrtle Beach, which would be kind of cool. I'd go to Myrtle Beach. Then there's the Cricket Celebration Bowl. Let's see, on this December 16th, the Myrtle Beach Bowl, the Cricket Celebration Bowl in Atlanta, the Arnell New Orleans Bowl in Atlanta, the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl in Orlando.
That's the one we want. Orlando.
The
we want the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. What does that even mean?
Oh, there's the LA Bowl hosted by Gronk in LA. Then there's the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl in Shreveport. Those are the opening weekend bowls. I don't really know any of the potential teams, and then you go to Monday. You've got the famous Toastery Bowl. Where do these bowl names come from? Holy cow! In Charlotte, the Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Scooters Coffee. I've never heard of Scooters Coffee, but they can claim a bowl game. Scooters Coffee's
a Nebraska company. Maybe that's what we'll go to.
Maybe that's the one we'll go to. The roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. That's the one on December 21st. But it is going to mess up holiday travel. The Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa. The Camellia Bowl. I don't recognize any of these bowl names. The Birmingham Bowl.
The Easy Post Hawaii Bowl.
Oh, the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. It's December 23rd. Imagine going to Hawaii on December 23rd. Oh. 68 Ventures Bowl.
Oh, wow, look at this one. This one you're going to like, the Wasabi Fenway Bowl in Boston, Massachusetts.
No, I love the idea, but no way. You got to go see the game outside. Forget it.
That's Guaranteed Fights.
Guaranteed Fights, yes. The Guaranteed Fights Bowl at Fenway Park. I think that would...
The kids would like the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
What would be the over-under on the number of fights at Guaranteed Fights Fenway Bowl? I'd put it at 62.
Even the January 1st bowls are weird. Relia Quest Bowl. What the hell is that?
What's a Relia Quest? I don't know. The Verbo Fiesta Bowl. I know. I know. Ever since they started calling themselves Verbo rather than VRBO, I don't like them as much. It's like it's Verbo. It's like what? It's not a verb. It's just ridiculous. Verbo, VRBO. Get on it.
Wait, you skipped over this one, Bob. The Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl.
That's in the what do you call it?
Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium. Oh, talk about the Fight Bowl 2.0.
Well,
Which bowl game will have more fights? The Pinstripe Bowl or the Fenway Bowl?
But there's a Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl.
Who's Duke's? Why does he have mayonnaise?
Well, Duke's is apparently a really good mayonnaise.
Barstool Sports has its own bowl? Holy cow.
The SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl.
I'm wondering how we should find out how much it costs to sponsor a bowl game. And I'm looking at the Birmingham Bowl because it doesn't have any name on it. It just says Birmingham Bowl. So what the Sunday morning quarterback Birmingham Bowl, I wonder how much it would cost us to sponsor that bowl game.
We should figure out, we should network our way into becoming like bowl ambassadors, like where we go visit college games and wear the jackets and stuff. Be like,
but here's the thing. Yeah, but why would anybody want a Nebraska fan at a bowl game since we haven't been there in 6 years? Like, we know you guys. You're from Nebraska. We're going to keep the faith for one more week. It's not going to kill us. You know what? It's not going to kill us. One more week.
Let's hope that Kirk Ferentz' son decides to tank the game because it's his last game and he's been fired already.
Maybe it's like one of those movies where like the aliens start taking over everybody and you think that humanity is going to die. And then in the very last minute, they rescue it. Humanity lives another day.
Isn't that funny, though? Kirk Ferentz' son has been fired. He allowed him to play till the end of the year. They're 20th ranked. They've won the West.
Yeah,
and
they scored a bunch of points, so enough points to win. So who knows? You know what? Who knows, Stockwell? Who knows? I will remain optimistic for one more week. It's not going to kill me any more than it's already killed me. They've already beaten me. I'm already like Mr. Krabs at SpongeBob, or on the bottom of some or Plankton. I'm like Plankton and SpongeBob. We're on the bottom of someone's shoe right now. I'm already on the bottom of someone's shoe. One more weekend ain't gonna kill me.
All right. Well, let's take us out here, UB.
You know what? We got to remain optimistic. Go Big Red!
Go Big Red! See, we're still optimistic. There we go.